Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Scott Show. This is the Scott Show Wrestling Show. We are talking about what happened last night on the first ever Wednesday Night War. So here we go. We're going to start with NXT. I have no idea why. I have a lot more things to say about AEW since it's their first show. So I guess we'll just start with NXT. So I do have to say that they did have some dark matches in both shows, NXT and AEW. I want to thank both the promotions for that. I really think it's important that when you have the live crowd there, that you give them a little extra than you give to the show. With NXT, there were two matches ahead of time, dark matches. Isaiah Scott, which I think is Shane Strickland, but I'm not sure. He won a match, and the guys from India, Singh and Guvar, won their match in the dark tag team match. So that happened. The crowd didn't see it. I don't know anything about it, actually. I do check out cagematch.com to get the matches, times, and other things. So just check that out. It's pretty cool. Alright, so let's go to NXT first. We're going to go to the first match on the NXT card for the day. It was Adam Cole against Matt Riddle. And it was a decent match. These guys are really good. No problems there. That's just kind of how I feel. I mean, they are good wrestlers. Adam Cole is a champion. He looks like a young Shawn Michaels. Matt Riddle has so many different things that you can put in there. You know, he's got the no shoes on, like Kevin Von Erich. He's kind of got the Kevin Von Erich kind of look. Because Kevin was built, Matt's kind of built that same way. He's probably a little taller. And, he's got a little bit more MMA background than Kevin Von Erich did. But Adam Cole wins the match in 13 minutes 50 seconds. Now, after the match, Cole is celebrating, and who comes out? None other than Finn Balor. And Finn Balor wins the crowd over. I love that part of his music where he puts his arms up, and it was kind of funny because he got in the ring and he got the microphone, he started talking, and all of a sudden they do the arm thing again, and he just lifts one hand just to make sure he gives the crowd what they want, which was really cool. Finn said, now officially Finn Balor is NXT. Crowd went crazy, so that's going to be a big push for NXT, and I look forward to seeing what happens next. In a singles match, Io Shirai defeated Mia Yim. Io Shirai is having a good time as a heel, and you can tell it. She's a good heel. Long match, almost 15 minutes, but Io Shirai does win the match and move on towards the ladder of the women's division. In another match, I did not see this match, with Johnny Gargano and Shane Thorne. I like Shane Thorne. I think the guy's talented. Johnny Gargano, he's a machine when it comes to the wrestling. Johnny Wrestling, that's why they call him that. He wins the match in 9 minutes. Not anything that I could call home about because I didn't see it. I really didn't see any highlights of it either. So in a very, very busy Wednesday night, I didn't really see too much of Johnny Gargano, which is kind of depressing. So NXT Women's Championship match, I did see a little bit of this. Shayna Baszler and Candice LeRae, they went back and forth. Candice held her own, which was good. But Shayna Baszler wins the match and retains the title. I think that she's got a date with Rhea Ripley coming up. And that will be a hell of a match. So I look forward to seeing that. I hope Rhea actually takes the title. I'd love to see one of the UK girls come over and win the main NXT belt. It would be cool. In a singles match, you had Pete Dunne, the Bruiserweight, defeat Danny Burch. I saw a little bit of this. I love Pete Dunne. I think the guy's just incredibly talented. He did get beat up by Damian Priest, who I think is used to be in Ring of Honor and has a really cool name. Good look to him. But really, it was a good match. These guys know each other well. They fought each other before, so not bad at all. And then the NXT the NXT Tag Team Championship match. The Street Profits versus the Undisputed Era. The Street Profits came out with Wale and did a little rap. They want the smoke, apparently. And the Undisputed Era comes out, as they always do, looking like a team, looking like a well-oiled machine. And at the end of the day, folks, the Street Profits do not regain the titles, as the Undisputed Era wins the match. And at the end of the show, out comes Tommaso Ciampa. So, Adam Cole's having a day. Let's just say that. He's having quite a day. He's got two people who want his title, and we'll see what happens. I'd really love to see Finn maybe push that North American Championship a little bit and try to go after Roderick Strong, because those matches would be phenomenal. I'm just saying, lots of really great stuff out there, so check it out. I do have to say, for NXT, I'm not incredibly impressed. They had 3 matches, none of the titles changed hands. The Johnny Gargano match, I didn't watch it, didn't hear about it. If I don't hear about something, like, the biggest takeaway that I got from it is that all the champions retained, that Wale came out, that Pete Dunne had a match, Io Shirai is a great heel, but I did not hear one thing about Johnny Gargano, and that's kind of depressing. Of course, I heard about all the new guys coming out too, so there you go. Now, we're going to go to AEW. I got a lot more to say probably about AEW. If you guys are done with it, it's at 6:32. 6:32 is where I talked about AEW here. Both are 2-hour shows. Actually, NXT went 15 more minutes. So, I do have to highlight the fact that AEW gave people more dark matches, which is good for their first show. And I guess, they had a lot more people there as far as talent. I'm sure they had talent in the back of NXT too, but it didn't look like it compared to this. So you did have Darby Allin versus CIMA. Darby Allin won the match. You had the Lucha Brothers, Jack Evans and Angelico, get the Best Friends in Private Party. Allie and Britt Baker against Bea Priestley and Penelope Ford, which I would have loved to see as a regular match. If you put that on next week, I will be very happy. And then the dark 6-man tag team match, they had the Jurassic Express, Marco Stunt, the 15-year-old little boy who wants to learn to wrestle, Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. Then they got beat by SCU. Those are all the dark matches that happened. The only one I would have wanted to see was that women's tag team match. I would have liked that match. I would have paid attention to AEW for that. I actually watched the highlights of all this, but I did see one match in particular, and I can't wait to talk about it. Now, I have been very questionable about AEW since it started. I'm going to say some mean things. Probably a little bit more mean than I did with NXT. But, yeah, this happened. This Wednesday Night War happened. The people are excited, so wrestling is moving. But we'll get started in the top here with the first match, Cody and Sammy Guevara. So, cage match, the inmates, as they call them, giving it a 6.80 on the Richter scale there. I probably wouldn't even give it that. Sammy Guevara, I guess at the end they were trying to make him a thing. I really didn't see it too much. So, But Cody did defeat Sammy Guevara. They did not give a time on these for NXT, for AEW, so just a heads up on that. But Cody did defeat Sammy Guevara. It was a fairly good outing for Cody, and they really pushed the fact that if Cody loses, his win-loss record goes down, which means he doesn't get title shots. He doesn't get the title shot against Jericho, which incidentally is okay, but Kenny Omega has lost pretty much every match he's been in. He should never have a shot at the title if that's the way that you're going to promote it. So you do have to have some sort of, I think some sort of ranking system would make more sense, rather than, hey, you've lost every single match, you're a loser, bye. It does not make sense that way. So I would have a ranking system. It'd be very old school, but that's kind of the way I would do it. Just saying, Cody defeated Sammy Guevara. Then the match that I watched, from beginning to end, because I think the world of this guy, and it was funny, because he ended up getting cheered when he came out, and then he started talking. And that is Maxwell Jacob Friedman, or as everybody likes to call him, MJF. MJF against... now, I thought MJF was going to be way meaner to this guy. He was already mean already. I thought he was going to call him Brian Cutler. I want to call him Brian Cutler just because the guy's a loser. I mean, MJF was so right in this thing. Brandon Cutler is a complete loser, a complete jobber. I mean, he made Joey Janela look good. And for the people who are listening who don't know who Joey Janela is, he is signed to AEW, and he's Beast Crap too. So Brandon, I don't really care what his name is. Mr. Cutler came out. He looked like Just Incredible when he was just starting out and didn't have it, but was working towards it, and hopefully he gained some muscle. He's a train wreck waiting to happen. Friedman called and said that Dungeons and Dragons ain't real, but MJF is, or what was real is that he's better than you and you know it. Yeah. MJF is just a star. He is just a star. Give him 6 months, he will be champion. I have no doubt in that whatsoever. Maxwell Jacob Friedman, MJF, wins the match. I've talked about it way too long for a Brandon Cutler match. The guy's just, he was just terrible beyond all words. Then they had a match of Pac against Hangman Page, or Pac, or Pac, or however you say. I say Pac. The former Neville versus Hangman Page. And I was a little depressed that it ended up the way it did. Pac defeated Hangman Page. It was kind of a cheap shot the way it is. But again, you have Hangman Page 0-2. But he did win the Casino Battle Royal, so I don't know what that's going to mean. But 0-2 in his last 2 AEW matches. The women's world title match, very depressed in how that looked. I just thought it was crap, honestly. Nyla Rose gets defeated by Riho. I'm glad to see that she won the title, which is cool. You know, Riho actually just looked good in other outings. This match was completely flat. Just nothing to it. And I think that Nyla Rose is not a good wrestler. I gave her a shot. No, not impressed. Time to go home. So, there you go. I really can't say too many great things about this. They crowned a 98-pound women's champion when they have Awesome Kong on their roster. When they have Britt Baker on their roster. When they have Penelope Ford on their roster. When they have Allie on their roster. Disappointing. And in the main event match, if you wanted a little bit of craziness, you got it here with Chris Jericho, Ortiz, and Santana, or of course, Jericho and LAX as they defeated the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega. And Kenny Omega lost the match. So go back to the fact that Kenny Omega came out in the match after the he came after the women's match and helped beat up Michael Nakazawa or whatever his name is. And that's whatever. He saved Nyla Rose, I think. I don't even know what it was. Then he came back out. So you got a guy who's doing two different things. Kind of weird. Kind of cool. I want to see where they go with that. Maybe they'll put Omega, somewhere in the lower parts of the roster. But, it is what it is. So, we get to the 6-man main event match. They come out again. And so you got the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega. And then Jericho and LAX. And it turned out to be what would be termed in the wonderful world of wrestling as a clusterfuck. And I don't use swear words too much on this show, but I will for this one. I did watch the back and forth between Omega and LAX. It looked good. Then Jericho came out and kind of, did a few things with Omega. That looked good. The Young Bucks did that weak super kick that they have to LAX or whoever it was. And Omega was getting ready to do a dive, wasted too much time. It looked completely out of order. And Jon Moxley came out to beat up Kenny Omega. Turned the match into a 3-on-2. And really, so look at who you have when it's a 3-on-2 match with that. You have the first undisputed champion, many-time Intercontinental Champion, first AEW World Champion, against LAX, who's former Impact Champions. Just amazing kind of guys. And they're facing off against what looks like two high school kids that want to be the Midnight Rockers. So, of course, Jericho, Ortiz, and Santana are going to win that match. If they didn't, AEW shot themselves in the foot. So, after the match happened, or before the match ended, Kenny Omega got DDT'd through a table, which looked really weak. It looked like Jon Moxley took more of the brunt of it. It was really, it was just a weak shot. Omega didn't even look like he got hurt. Didn't even look like he hardly touched the table. Not bleeding from the head or anything. I would have loved to see Jon Moxley's back, because that's the only thing I probably would have thought that got hurt. But, back to the ring, you had Cody Rhodes come out to beat up Chris Jericho. You had Sammy Guevara to come back out and beat up Cody Rhodes. Then you had Dustin Rhodes come out to beat up LAX, Sammy Guevara, and all these other people. A lot of kicking the balls, which is kind of stupid to me. There were like 3 of them. So it happened in the Pac match. It happened in the Guevara to Cody, and Dustin to Guevara. And if I missed any of it, who knows? And I'm not going to say the complete obvious one that could have happened. It is what it is. So, after that happened, Jake Hager came out and beat up Dustin Rhodes and hit him, and it ends up you have LAX, Jericho, Guevara, and Jake Hager as a team. I'm wondering where that's going to go. If that's the case, and they go with this 5-man team, I don't mind it. Because Jericho is the Hogan, LAX is the Hall and Nash, which is cool. Guevara is the X-Pac. And, if you're going to put an NWO thing on this. And then you have Jake Hager, who would probably be like the Macho Man or the Giant or whoever the NWO kicked out to set up the next feud. If you want to change it to a DX thing, which we can gladly do, Jericho would be Triple H. You would have Ortiz and Santana as the New Age Outlaws. You would have Guevara as X-Pac, crazy enough. And then, of course, you'd have Jake Hager, Shawn Michaels. Or you could switch up the Jericho and Hager. So I'm interested to see what's going on with this. I would love to see them bring out another secondary title. Because if you have the tag team titles, you have a cruiserweight title, you have a U.S. title, and a world title. There, you got your 5 to hold the titles first thing. And that's not that bad. So I do gotta say, not that bad. I do have to say, folks, keep beating up the Young Bucks in this. They'll go away sooner or later. I mean, I know that they own the business. But, they can stay backstage with all the other wannabe wrestlers and let the big boys play, as they said in WCW. Kenny Omega has talent. I just wish that the American audience would see it. So, again, very disappointing. And I'm not... Maxwell Jacob Friedman is the man. He's the best thing they've got going right now. So, keep that up, folks. Build him up. Give him a 45-minute promo, followed by an hour match, and you got yourself a day. But NXT or AEW to me, more disappointing than NXT. This is your first outing, and you're going to put the high school kids in a match with their dad, Kenny Omega, against, champions and people who deserve to be there in the main event of any promotion. And this is going to be your promotion. Kind of depressing. I'm interested to see what happens next week. I don't know what their game plan is. I know they're going to be having tag team matches for the tournament. I think they're having, I think the title is on the line. It's coming up here soon. Jericho will defend, and then Riho will defend. I think she defends either next week or the week after. So there are interesting matches coming up. Just, please, God, put the women's title on somebody. Put it on Awesome Kong, please. So, folks, this has been the Wednesday Night Wars. This is the first show of the Wednesday Night Wars. We're going to have lots more. As every Wednesday until one of these shows get canceled, we will be here. Look forward to Friday Night SmackDown. Saturday morning, we'll be talking Friday Night SmackDown. The Rock coming back to smacketh down somebody's candy ass. 2 swears in this show. Oh my goodness, I might even owe somebody one myself. Alright, you guys have a great day. We'll catch you here real soon on the ScottShow.com. 7 minutes of NXT, followed by like 14 of AEW. That's how important this Wednesday Night War thing is. But you had your first show, and you epically failed. So, both of you guys need to get in the groove and make your shows better if you want people to watch on Wednesday nights. Alright, you guys catch you soon here on the ScottShow.com. Check us out, ScottShow.com, of course, or Patreon.com/ScottShow.